Have you ever replayed an embarrassing moment only to realize nobody else even remembered it? Maybe you said something awkward. Maybe you stumbled over your words. Maybe you made a small mistake during a presentation, and hours later, you're still thinking about it. The next day, you're still thinking about it. A week later, you remember it again. But here's the strange part. Most people probably forgot it within minutes. In fact, most people weren't paying nearly as much attention as you thought. And yet, humans spend an extraordinary amount of time worrying about what other people think. Why? Why does it feel like everyone is watching us? Why do we care so much about other people's opinions? The answer may be older than civilization itself, much older, because part of your brain is still living in a world that disappeared thousands of years ago. Psychologists have a name for this tendency: the spotlight effect. The tendency to believe that other people notice us far more than they actually do. It's as if each of us walks through life carrying an invisible spotlight, believing everyone can see us, every mistake, every flaw, every awkward moment, every insecurity. But reality looks very different, because the people we're worried about are usually busy worrying about themselves, their appearance, their mistakes, their future, their problems, their fears. In other words, everyone thinks they're standing at the center of the stage, which creates a strange paradox. We spend enormous amounts of energy worrying about what other people think, while those people are often doing exactly the same thing, worrying about what we think of them. But if that's true, why does the feeling seem so powerful? Why can't we simply stop caring? To answer that, we need to travel back, far back, for almost all of human history. Humans lived in small tribes, tiny groups scattered across forests, rivers, mountains, and open plains. There were no hospitals, no police, no supermarkets, no governments, no safety nets. If you wanted to survive, you needed other people. You needed the tribe. The tribe hunted together, shared food, protected children, passed down knowledge, defended territory, and perhaps most importantly, the tribe decided who belonged. Now imagine waking up 50,000 years ago and discovering that nobody wants you there anymore. Nobody shares food. Nobody trusts you. Nobody helps you. Nobody protects you. Nobody wants you around. What happens next? For many of our ancestors, that wasn't merely uncomfortable, it could be deadly, because from the perspective of evolution, acceptance wasn't a luxury, it was survival, and that ancient reality left a mark on the human brain, a mark that still exists today. Think about rejection. At first glance, it seems harmless. Nobody is physically attacking you. Nobody is causing visible injury. It's just a social experience, a look, a comment, a message left unanswered, a feeling of being excluded. And yet, rejection can hurt, sometimes far more than we expect. Modern neuroscience has discovered something remarkable. When people experience social rejection, the brain activates some of the same systems involved in physical pain. Think about that. The same brain that helps you avoid danger also reacts when you feel unwanted. From the perspective of your ancestors, that makes perfect sense, because exclusion wasn't merely emotional, it was a threat. Your brain evolved to take it seriously, not because it's weak, but because it's trying to protect you. The problem is that the world changed, but our brains didn't. For most of human history, you compared yourself to a small tribe, maybe 100 people, maybe fewer. You knew them and they knew you. The comparison had limits. Today, you can compare yourself to millions. At any moment, someone gets promoted, someone buys a new house, someone travels somewhere beautiful, someone looks happier, more successful, more attractive, and instantly, your brain starts measuring. Not because you consciously choose to, but because that's what human brains evolved to do. Psychologists call this social comparison theory, the idea that we understand ourselves partly by comparing ourselves to others. And originally, that wasn't a flaw. It was useful. It helped our ancestors understand their place within the group, who had influence, who had resources, who was respected, who was successful. But social media changed the scale completely. Your brain evolved for a tribe, not an audience. It evolved for dozens of people, not millions. And yet, every day, it tries to process all of it. The likes, the followers, the comments, the opinions, the judgments, the endless comparisons, using a system designed for a completely different world. Which brings us back to our original question. Why do we care so much about what other people think? Maybe because for most of human history, other people helped determine whether we survived. Maybe because our brains evolved to monitor acceptance and rejection with extraordinary sensitivity. Maybe because part of us still lives in a world where belonging mattered more than almost anything else. The strange truth is that your brain may not be seeking approval because you're insecure. It may be seeking approval because it was designed to belong, designed to connect, designed to survive. And understanding that changes the story we tell ourselves. Maybe the goal isn't to stop caring completely. Maybe that's impossible. Humans were never meant to be indifferent. We evolved to belong. We evolved to connect. We evolved to care. The problem isn't that your brain worries about the tribe. The problem is that the tribe no longer exists. And yet, part of your mind is still searching for it, still searching for belonging, still searching for acceptance, still searching for signs that you matter. Maybe the strange thing isn't that we care what others think. Maybe the strange thing is that our brains still behave as if we're living in a tribe where reputation could mean survival, a tribe where rejection could mean danger, a tribe that no longer exists. And yet, part of your mind still lives there, trying to belong, trying to connect, trying to understand what everyone else thinks, even when most people are thinking about themselves. And now I'm curious about you. Have you ever caught yourself worrying about what other people thought, only to realize later they probably weren't thinking about you at all? Share your experience below, because sometimes the fastest way to understand human behavior is to discover how many people have lived through the exact same thing. Because every strange thing humans do is one more piece of the puzzle. The human puzzle. One question, one answer, one piece of the puzzle. Because sometimes the fastest way to understand human behavior is to discover how many people have lived through the exact same thing.